Okay, viewers, we're back at Craps Hawaii. In this video, I'd like to show you what is one of the best things that can work for you in your favor on a crap table. So, what would you think that would be something that you could do that would be a great help for you in your favor? And if you don't know what it is, the answer is tipping the dealers. Tipping the dealers would put them in a position that would make them help you. Okay, because dealers need to make money. They all want to make money. They don't make a lot of wages dealing. They make most of their money on tips. So I'm just going to show you some ways that when you're playing to tip the dealer. Okay, first of all, it doesn't matter what the table minimum is. When you're playing for the dealers, you can bet $1 for them. It doesn't have to be table limit. Okay, so any bets out here that you make doesn't have to be table limit, table minimum. Okay, it can be $1 all the way up to $5, $10, $15, whatever you want to bet for them. So I'm just going to show you some ways that you could be betting for the dealer. So if you're on a pass line and you're the shooter and you want to bet for the dealer, you set them up right next to you. And you can tell them this bet is for the dealers or for the boys. And a lot of times they know when you're betting less than the minimum for the table, that is for the dealers. Okay? So you just set them up right next to you. And you roll a point. Now you're going to put odds in the back for you. And you don't have to put odds for the dealers as a tip. But if you want to, you could just put $2. Okay? That's one way of tipping for the dealers. And the dealers really appreciate this, okay? And because you're tipping for them, they're going to be watching out for your bets. They're going to be making sure that if you were always betting the hard ways and the point, let's say 8 came and you lost, let's say the 8, and you were here and you lost that, they're going to make sure to remind you that, oh, you want to put back your bet on the 8, on the hard 8, because you've been betting it all the time, and then this time you didn't bet it, so they feel you might have forgotten. And so they might remind you, hey, don't forget the hard 8. Okay, so that's one thing where they're going to help you. Okay, another way that you could bet for the dealers is that if you're not the shooter, or if you are, but if you're not the shooter and you're just on the outside, so you cannot place them on the pass line because you're not the shooter. Of course, you could, even if you're not the shooter, you could put them on the pass line, but most times you want them to be betting with you. Okay, so you might be having, place bets out here, and I'm just going to put small bets, let's say $10, $12. So you're like this is your bets. You're playing the hard ways. And you want the dealer to, be with you in the game because you want to tip them. You could put $1 over here. And you just throw the dealer $4 and say hard ways for the boys. All the hard ways for the boys, for the dealers, whatever you want to say. Okay, and that's what they do. So now let's say sometimes you don't want to put out that much money. So what you do is, let's say you wanna play the hard 8. You throw it into the stick man, show him the $6 and say two-way heartache, and he'll know that he'll set himself up with 5 for you and 1 for him. Okay, so that's another way to tip the dealers. Another thing that I do is when I'm playing, if I'm playing 44 inside or 66 inside, whatever it is, and let's say I'm like this actually, and I'm gonna play the field. What I do is I show the dealer a nickel, and I tell him, I want you to follow me. So I want you to put yourself up on the 5, 6, 8, and field. So that's another way that he can follow me, and he's getting tips. And if I'm working on a come up, he's working on a come up. Because that's what I'm going to say. I'm working, you're working. So what happens is, if we hit the field, I win, he's going to win, and he's going to come up here and take $1 win, right? And every time I hit a point, or the shooter hits a point, I'm going to collect, he's going to collect. I'm going to collect, he's going to collect. And sometimes, if, let's say, the 9 hits, he gets paid, he might do this and take both of it down. But what I try to say to him is, I want you to stay there and take the win, and you're still in the game. Next time that number hits again, you're going to get another $1, right? So that's another way to have them play along with you, and being tipped. Now, the thing about tipping the dealers, some people, they tip the dealers at the end, and they say, oh, I want to color up my chips, and then they might show the dealers $7, $10, and they go the house, and they take their chips and they walk away. That's after they color in and they're done playing. Some people do that, and that's okay. But the problem with doing it that way is that you're not on the table anymore. You left the table. So even though they tipped you and you tipped them and they appreciated that, they cannot help you out on the table because you left the game already, right? If you were tipping them along the way when you were playing, they could help you out. So an instance of helping you out is, you know how I play, right? I'll play maybe 5, 6, 8, and the field. Or I'll play this way without the field. And I'm just going to give you an example of the last time I went to Vegas and played. I told the dealer on my side of the table, and I wasn't the shooter, but I told the dealer, whenever I place my bets out here on the place bets, and I got a bet in the field, I am working. I told him that I am working. So he'll take a button and place it on my bet to show that I am working. Okay? So then I work, and then I come up here. Okay, and let's say the point was 8 or 9 or whatever it is, and I come up here, and then the guy makes his point. Okay, so I was doing this for a while already. I was there like 30 minutes, 40 minutes playing. So the dealer and I had the understanding, when I'm in the field and I got my numbers placed up here, I'm working on a come up. If I don't have a bet in the field, I'm only up here, I'm not working. Okay, and because I was betting for them, like I said, I'm playing dollar for them, they're following me, they started in the field, came up here, that there was one throw that when he switched to become the stick man because they all rotate. He became the stick man or the dealer on the other side. I'm not sure. The guy threw the dice on a come out. Okay. So the dealer took my bets down. The new dealer that came here. And I told him I'm not working. And so he looked at the box man. And the box man looked at him and looked at me and said, "You always working. You were always working." I said, "I wasn't always working. I'm only working when I have a bet in the field and the dice is coming out on a new point, then I'm working. If I don't have a bet in the field, I wasn't working." So now the dealer that I was dealing with earlier and tipping him and went to the stick man or the other side dealer, I'm not sure, looked at the box man and said, "No. When he doesn't have a bet in the field, he is not working." And the boxman said he was always working. And the dealer told him, "No, he was not working. He only works when he has a bet in the field." So because I was tipping him and working, I felt that that's why he backed me up and said, "No, he wasn't working, so don't take his money down." And the boxman listened. So that's an example of why you tip the dealers, especially when you're playing on the table. Don't wait until you're done playing, okay, and then tip, because they can't do anything for you then already. Once you're left the table, they cannot do anything for you, okay. The other ways that you can tip dealers is you can put them in the field. You can put them on the horn bets. You can give them a 30-1 on the 12. Any of these bets, you can bet for the dealers as a tip. And believe me, they appreciate it, because these dealers, they're working for like minimum, and I mean minimum. I don't mean Hawaii state minimum. They're working for $6, $7 an hour. Okay, so they live off of their tips. So it's nice to tip them when you're playing. You don't have to, tip them a lot. Even if I'm losing, but I'm not losing a bunch. If I'm not losing like $500-$600, but I might be losing $100 or something, I'll still throw them a nickel and say, "Hey, I want you to put 5, 6, 8, 9, and put $1 in the field for you." And then let them do it. They're happy. Okay, they're happy. And I'm looking that they're going to help me out when I need the help. Okay? So that's the video tonight, is for that. Learning how to tip the dealers and why you should tip the dealers and when you should tip the dealers. Okay? Because these dealers, they work hard. And when the girl comes around with your drink, you're giving her $1, $2, sometimes $5 anyway. So why not tip the people that are working hard for you, making sure that your points are correct, making sure your payouts are correct, making sure you're getting the service that you want. Okay, so anyway, that's just a short video on tipping, how to tip, when to tip, what bets you can make for them to tip them. And you don't have to tip the minimum of the table. You can bet $1 for them. Even if the minimum is $5, $10, $20, you can bet $1 for the dealers. Okay, so that was just a quick lesson on tipping. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk again soon. Have a great day.